All right, so we're gonna make this quick. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Congratulations, Mbak Fitria. Ya, finally, this is the time for you to open the gate of your exit gate. Yeah, as a student. So that's a big deal. But at the same time, I hope you are not very overwhelmed by the feeling. Yeah. So just try to make it natural. And why I'm here now trying to have this session because you are ready. All right. So it's not easy. It was like a rock and roll, yeah, roller coaster, and you should have a good feeling today. Yeah. So I'm happy. I'm proud of you to become the part of your examination today. Yeah. And here we go. How are you? Take a deep breath. So I report the
I'm good.
question. Yeah, yeah, you look good. No
Yeah.
problems. Everything is ready technically, so it's just time for you to kick the ball off. Yeah. So today we're gonna have like two sessions. The first session will be you presenting. Yeah, as you expected, and you know that you're gonna present your finding. When I say present, it's sharing. Yeah. So you're not going to do some outside of your topic. So I will give you the time unlimited, but not make it too long, of course. Accordingly, as I mentioned and I have seen in your PowerPoint. The first session will be you presenting, yeah, and I will take time to listen. And then the second one, it will be question and answer, as you know, as you expected, and the question will not be a mysterious question. It's not to be out of the box question. It will be question about what you have written. So there's no mystery questions. Yeah. So I hope that makes you feel good. Yeah. Okay.
Amin.
Yeah. I've known you for a while since the early semester of you becoming student, and I know your capacity. You can do this. So this is not the first time I do exam students, and I think you are on that particular category of student who can handle this well. Yeah. Okay. Now I think it's time for you to share the screen. If you're ready, we can start. Yeah. I will be listening. Which one do you think good for you? Turn off my screen or just keep it up like that?
uh,
But I will
it's
be
okay,
back.
Pak.
It's okay if I'm there. Yeah. Okay.
It's
So
okay.
all right. Good luck. All the best. So you can share the screen now. Klaten is a bit cloudy. Yeah. I can see it by my window.
Yeah.
But it's good. It's good. It's cold in the morning, and I think it's perfect weather.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
My name is Fitri Nur, and here I want to present my result of research paper entitled Elementary School Parents' Perceptions of Online Learning During COVID-19 Quarantine, a phenomenological study at SDIT Arisalah Wonosari, Klaten. Okay, the first, uh, I'm gonna start with why I choose this topic and why I choose online learning. I choose this topic because the use of online learning during this pandemic is one of possible way to continue teaching and learning activities. And of course, in this pandemic, online learning is quite uh, it's one of the best way to meet teacher and a student during this pandemic. And also why I choose parents as a subject, because parents who can give perception about how online learning situation when they accompanying their children during online learning based on their experience during accompanying their children. And also I choose parents because it's rarely to take parents as the data source about online learning, because mostly I just read that uh, data source derived from student or just come from the teacher itself. So I choose parents because I'm curious and also it's also interesting about their perception on online learning. And why I choose online learning? As I said before, that online learning is one of possible way to continue the online learning because it's also quite possible to use during this pandemic, and also that possible use for teaching learning program. Also that uh, Lauren et al. Said that online learning is used to provide instructional program to students who are separated by distance from the instructor or teacher. So it's quite possible and flexible to use online learning during this pandemic. And also Fitriadi said that online learning shows that some of the advantage of ICT for education are functioning as an associate degree giver for long-term learning, making change in the role of teacher in teaching, and long-term making in the role of teacher in teaching, and therefore the role of scholars in learning. Offer open access to interactive material and data over the networks, also eliminating time and area constraint constraint in the learning environment. So why I choose online learning? Because it's quite possible to use online learning as the way to continue the teaching learning program. And the objective of this study, there are two. The first, I want to describe the parents' perspective of online learning based on their experience while accompanying their children in online learning during this pandemic. And also, I want to describe the problem which faced by the young learner and parents during online learning in pandemic. And for the wait, sorry. Okay. And for the theoretical framework, I want to analyze. I want to analyze this study use phenomenological approach, and I adopt this theoretical from Van Manen, in 1990. The first is making question, then I gathering the data. After that, I did in-depth interview, and then I interpret the result of interview, and I confirming result and analyzing the data. And here I want to uh, analyze whether the parents' perception on facing online learning during COVID-19 and whether they find some difficulties or not. And for research method, the type of this research itself is qualitative research, and technique of collecting data, I use in-depth interview. And for the data analysis, I use hermeneutic phenomenology, and also for the validity of data, I use triangulation. So in here, I don't want to judge whether my research is the truth or not, because I just want to share what I got from my data source. Then I just want to increase my research understanding based on my data. And based on the data, the finding that I have found are: the first, the parents of young learner prefer face-to-face learning than online learning. Parents who accompany or even teach their children during online learning feel that online learning is less effective in online learning. So they still need this they still think that face-to-face contact between teacher and also student is still needed, because the lack of material, the lack of explanation from the teacher make parents confused how to teach their children at home. And the second is parents found it difficult to teach their children when online learning was taking place because the differences between face-to-face learning at school and at home, it make parents and also the student difficult to understanding the learning material. The first, because the student they prefer uh, tend to play rather than so they have to learn. Uh, they they have to learn through online, and for the parents, they also difficult to teach their children because their children less concentration they when they in at home rather than at school. And based on the finding, I can conclude that parents prefer to do face-to-face learning system over online learning, and young learners tend to play rather than learn through online. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. That was quick. That was smooth, I think, and that's quite brief. Please let the slide still on the screen, yeah, because we're gonna go
Oh
to
yeah.
the next session. Okay. I think that was comprehensive, and the fact that you are not delivering all in one block pieces of your thesis into your slide, it is good things. You are not just copy paste in there, but you just try to pick one that you want to, you think it is essential for you to share. So can you show me the first slide, and we're gonna start from there, yeah? All right, there you go.
Yeah.
So that is a very interesting title, yeah. So I will start with the questions. What is your motivation for this study? I mean, the slide
The
speaks.
first,
Mhm.
of course, I choose this because of course I want to finish my research paper,
Of course.
and the second, why I choose parents because it's quite interesting. The first, based on my data source, is a parents. I choose parents because it's quite rarely to take parents as the data source about online learning. Uh, when I read some journal or literature review, they just put student or teacher or maybe staff as the data source. So yeah, I feel like this is interesting to choose parents. And why elementary school parents? Because a young learner, it's still need guide, still need their parents to guide when they use gadget, and of course when online learning they use gadget.
All right. I think that was answering my questions exactly. Thank you. And going up, responding to the first questions, yeah. I know this not one go research. You go and finish and done. There were challenges, right? There
Yeah.
were problems. I don't know, technicals or anything on the way or related to the scope of the study. So would you mind explain limitation you encounter, you meet along the way of your research? I know there have been many, and would you mention the problems that you think mostly challenge you as a researcher, as a new researchers?
uh, for the challenge, I think about the find the theory
All right.
because there are so many theory about the advantage about the online learning, but it's quite difficult to find the lack of online learning. And now I found that online learning is difficult uh, because I just found that online learning is quite possible, quite flexible and blah blah blah. But in reality, that I found they they not agree with that. So it's quite
Exactly.
challenging.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
what about your uh, uh, data collection? We are now online, and I mean, show me in brief how did you get the data? Because the situation is just like what we have now. We cannot go meet and have an appointment easily like we were. So just give me a brief explanation and description of how did you get the data collection from these participants.
Okay. For collecting data, I went to their home,
Oh, really?
and I meet the parents, and yeah, we did interview. I did interview, and I got the data.
So interestingly, looking at your timeline, it was, I mean, the research was between or in already an outbreak pandemic, right? So it's already
Yeah.
it's already quarantine time. So how can you go out there easily just like that? What did you do to approach the participant? How can they say yes easily and then you go come up with, or what have you done?
The first I text the parents and make appointment. I make
Yeah.
appointment, then they say yes, but
Sorry,
in
I have to let me interrupt you. They instantly they say yes.
because they what because they feel that like dia butuh curhat, Pak. Mereka
So,
butuh curhat.
so they think they
Nah,
need that, right?
they need to share their feeling
Right, exactly.
about this online learning.
Okay. So you're lucky enough. I mean, technically, there will be a big that will be the biggest problem, yeah, because at one point you will have a participant who will, of course, follow the protocols, have this negativity in their minds of a strangers researchers, yeah, who coming up and
Yeah.
then even go. You went to the house, yeah, and I think that's quite exceptional to know that you can have this participant who is willing. So did you do something before you make an appointment, like presenting the idea of the research? Because I'm still curious how can the parents be like, oh, we need this. So did you do something before? I mean, like,
Yeah, the first I share about my uh, goal about this research paper, and they say, yeah, okay, I want to share, but uh, I expect that what um, they will agree with with uh, this online learning, but in reality, they they didn't agree with this. So I feel like, okay, if you didn't agree, let's make it simple. And yeah, I finish it.
all right. So, well, thank you. I think that was already answering the questions. Yeah. So let's go to the next phase of your research analysis. Yeah. So while we have this research as a, it's not a quantitative research, right?
Yeah.
It's qualitative research. It's based on the narratives. It's not a based on a number. So the question will be technically, why do you use phenomenology qualitative approach rather than, or instead of using quantitative survey or approach out there?
Okay, because I don't want to judge whether my research is the truth or not. I just want to share. Uh, I want to share about my research. I want to increase my understanding about my research based on my data, not because I want to judge that this is the third one, and uh, I just want to know more uh, I just want to know more about their experience, so I can share it with other.
Okay, so I think you're being consistent there, because you stick to what you write. in your research problem. Yeah, so that will be
Yeah.
the main references. So why no, I think that's the best way to answer it, and I'm happy that you're consistent with the way you answer it. Like, yeah, you're focusing on understanding. Yeah, while you want to understand one phenomena, you have to go interview. You don't use number, you don't use
Yeah.
survey. Wow, good, exactly. Okay, very interesting. I think you're ready. We are almost a half of the question and answers session. Yeah, still a half to go. So now, can you explain briefly how did you analyze? How do you analyze the data? In short, yeah.
Okay, I analyze the data based on hermetic phenomenology. So I just interpret the data, and I analyzing use sorry uh, I analyze using uh, hermetic phenomenology based on Van Manen, and it's quite simple. So uh, I'm just interpreting and analyzing based on data source and
Fitria, let me interrupt you.
yeah.
Can you make it like just to make it easy for me to understand? Just try to explain what happened. The first, you got the data, and then what do you do to the data? What's next? And that's it, the finding. So I mean, you just mentioned that order, yeah. Like,
Okay.
first you got the data, right? And then what
Yeah.
happened? What do you do to the data, and go on and finish, just like that.
Okay. I get the data, then I analyzing the data used hermetic phenomenology. When hermetic interviews to maintain the meaning of phenomenon as the subject question. So in this in this research, uh, I want to share their meaningful perspective experience about without judgment from someone. So it's purely based on their thought about online learning.
All right. So I can see where you're going by explaining that, because I know the theory, I know the approach just before you say it, because I already read the whole work of your analysis and data interpretation. But the problem will be a little bit overcome if you can elicit this step by steps, probably not me, because the next examiner will have no background on phenomenology at all, right? So it's your job to explain that as easy as possible. um, I know that, I understand that, I follow that, I'm a subscriber of that phenomenological approach. But as a researchers who go with this approach, Bavitria should explain the easiest ways possible by, for example, yeah, I'm gonna give, because you did that in your writing, it's perfect there. Like, first we got the interviews transcribed, and then what happened next, and then you categorize this into data and non-data. Oh, this is not my data, this is not what I'm asking about, so I will kick out. You will remove one of the data, or two or three or four that is not being questioned in your research problem, right?
Yeah.
This is something you do, you know this,
Yeah.
but your examiner probably don't know this. I know this because I go with you along the way, every process, especially since I am a big fan of phenomenological approach. But unlike me, probably who gonna be the next examiners?
Uh,
Ibu, bapak,
Miss Syahara, Bu Syahara,
Cara, and
and Miss Susi.
okay. So, generally speaking, they will be having a big question on these things. Like,
Yeah.
so what is this? So and I think you have that in yourself, in your write, in your idea, in your writing already very well written. So you just need to expose that, yeah, Fitria. You just this is what I did, and then it will be even much better if you put some examples, like you put it on the screen, right? You have it in there. I mean, you prepare that in the slide. Probably you don't need to show in the first presentation, but once this question is pop up and being exposed by Fitria, tell me what do you do to do this, to have this finding. So you can show the exact analysis. Yeah, the first the raw data, and then you get that two tables categorization, and then you go with uh, explicative theme, and then you give it to me, and I think I yes, you see, you agree, and then finally you have the finding. It's pretty much like that. So it looks simple because we understand this, but to people or to significant others outside our project, I don't think that will be easy. Yeah, you understand that very well. When you say that, I know what you're talking about. Oh, so yeah. So I think uh, you have that. Yeah. So just take save that. Take notes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Fitria. No problem. Only just a recommendation. So I think you answered my question. We go ahead. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ready for the next questions?
Okay.
Okay. So, well, how many findings in your research?
Two findings.
Two findings, yeah. And you have explained that very well, I think. And but then the next question will be, who do you think, sorry, who do you think will be interested in your finding, or who will be benefiting from this?
About of course, about parents' perception about online learning itself.
So the parents, yeah.
Yeah.
So the parents, and of course the community of the parents, or parties who are concerning with the online learning, right?
Yeah.
Do you think interested the interested or interesting for the interesting to the teachers?
Of course, because the teacher's perception can be the reference to improve the performance in online learning.
Okay, so I think we got two, yeah. The parents, of course, but and then of course the teachers. But do you think they will be notified? They will know your finding directly. Just when you finish this, okay, this is good. I know this is a big um, perspective of understanding online learning. But do you think these two parties will be notified, or they will? Do you think they will know? Even your participant know
Uh,
instantly.
Not instantly because uh, they need to maybe they need to read my journal first to
Yeah,
know about.
yeah, and it's in English. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there is a rationale why I asked you that, Fitria. The earlier, I think it's yesterday afternoon, right? I
Yeah.
text you not to publish it in ePrint for the sake of that one. I personally need that, but in a bigger perspective, uh, I mean, it's wasting. What a shame if we have this fine and you don't share that, even to your participant. So we need to do this in two ways. First, put it on the articles which can be accessed by everyone. Okay, that's of course technically, but that's still in English. The second of all, if you use an article, we have this. How do we say? We have this implementation of sharing the ideas. We call it pengabdian in bahasa Indonesia, and then this will go in a both mutual cycle. That's why I asked you, and I will try to modify the content probably into three, because one for the article, one for the social service, ya, apa, pengabdian masyarakat, ya.
Pengabdian.
So I mean, so let them know. I will post it. We will post it in the parenting communities, at least it's confirming, yeah, hey, yellow, something like that. So I mean, you understand yourself that we cannot just put this into the file of university and then save it, only save you to graduate but not helping others, right? Okay, so you got the idea, Mbak Fitria. Yeah, I think that's a good question with a good answer from you. Now, this is quite personal perspective out of the technical process in your research. If there is something that you are not happy with along the process, what is it? I mean, if you have a second chance, of course, a lot of things you want to change, improve along the process of your research. Yeah, I
Yeah.
wish I could do this. I wish I could have done this. It would have been much better if I did this, something like that. So, do you have those lists?
So far, I don't have it yet.
So you are okay with this?
Yeah, because it's based on my data, so I did it. I finished it.
Well, let's talk about specific technicals. For example, yeah, if I were you, I will be thinking like me myself as your supervisor. I'm not really happy with this way we corresponding each other. We just use WhatsApp, and then we use
Yeah.
email, and sometimes it's not giving me
Uh,
the the real time commitment. Yeah, I thought I opened it 2 days later, and I think it was just I just opened it freshly, but it's already 1 week, for example. Yeah, I think many things it's not the same as if we are not in a pandemic, right? And it's of course affecting the way we you finish this. And I'm sure you have those lists of things that you wish you could have done if it is not pandemic. You for example, you could have met me in a frequent schedule and on campus. Yeah, and I myself find it struggling to be real time commitment. Yeah, because
yeah.
to one extent, when the alarm was not ringing, I think there's no deadline or anything like that. But so please tell me honestly, personally, what are the things, you don't need to mention it all, but things that you would have expected to be happen, but it's not happen because it's pandemic. And yes, just like that.
Yeah, of course, the your schedule, sir, about the consultation schedule. Because personally, I prefer face to face.
Of course.
I prefer face to face with you rather than using WhatsApp or email or
Yeah.
maybe Google Meet.
Hmm. So why you prefer face to face? We cannot have face to face consultation.
Because it's okay when you like. It's okay when you just coret-coret my
Yeah,
research
yeah.
paper. It's
So
quite lebih puas gitu.
we can do like all out, yeah, drafting,
Yeah.
revising. I know, I can see that. And do you think is there any possibility of different way to have this consultation? Because there's it's still not changing at all. The rule is still the same. No meeting. But do you think do you have any option for solution? For example,
Maybe it can be consultation, face to face consultation, but not in campus. Maybe in somewhere like
Indomaret.
uh,
Yeah,
maybe maybe in a coffee shop or maybe in yeah some place to make
ever
face to
place. Yeah,
face.
I will be thinking of that because and now I'm gathering some idea and try to talk about this in a very careful manner because we cannot just go out there because if
Yeah,
university found out, I mean, we are being harmed to ourselves. Yeah, breaking the protocols. What I mean is, if your commitment, I'm sure I will be more than willing to come. If, for example, Bafitria, somebody around the, it's not a long distance, right? Or some student who are staying in campus for a long time and cannot go anywhere, and with the protocols, of course. We can manage like 3 or 4 small group discussion, but of course this need commitment. I will not go to campus for or two. I mean, just like everyone, we need to prepare this. But I'm thinking about the option you just mentioned, because I think there's nothing better than face to face. But
Yeah.
we cannot do that. If we do that, you know, we will be following very strict protocols and commitment, because we cannot stay like 3 hours and doing like a few student, 3 student. I think, well, it is what it is. We go ahead, and I think I'm happy that you go through this too many challenging, and hopefully you can graduate in a real proper farewell graduation. Hopefully, yeah. But if it is
Mm,
not happen, please take care of your feeling, yeah, because I don't know, will you have a graduation farewell or not? Okay, we're still in a question and answer session. I think there will be another two, the last two questions,
okay.
for you to share, yeah. So looking at the finding again, do you think, do you find a gap or confirmation of the finding to the theory? Is it saying yes, or it is saying no to the previous theory? Confirming, or it is confronting?
It is confirming, maybe,
Why you say confirming?
because I found that in chapter 5,
Yes.
uh, there there's so many students who felt in online classes tend to interact less frequently with teacher in their class. Lack of delivery of the learning material properly and lack of supervision from teacher make it difficult for parents to teach school materials to students during online learning at home due to this pandemic. So it's confirming that online learning online learning is face to face learning is still a better way rather than online learning class.
And not the option for today. Yeah. Can you slide down the last finding slide, please, so we can talk about it? I think you have already touched about that issue. Yeah. Uh, the last, please. Yes.
This one.
Yes. Not conclusion. The finding. Yeah.
Oh, the finding.
The finding. The parents of young learner prefer to face learning than online. Prefer. Prefer. I think you should change the then. Prefer face to face to, or prefer face to face learning to online learning, right?
Okay.
Prefer to, right? Prefer me to you. Prefer or then? Let me check.
Prefer to. Sorry, sir.
Okay, so please correct me if I'm wrong. Uh, so I think this is clear. Yeah, the parents of young learner prefer face-to-face learning. I think you can go update the last survey or the last
Mm.
articles talking about online learning. They will agree with this. So exactly is confirming. Yeah, it is. So the second finding, parents found it difficult to teach their children when online learning was taking place. I think it's also confirming, and you have probably in the next examination. I don't know tomorrow. When will be the next examination?
Eh, Miss Syahara, Miss Syahara belum ngasih jadwalnya. Tapi kalau untuk Miss Susi hari Senin.
All right. Okay. Long way to go. So you
Ya.
still have a lot of things to improve, but it is already good. So the second one, you just need to add extra notes. Parent found it difficult to teach children when online learning was taking place, especially in the lower elementary school, because way things to be more difficult. You can say a lot of things about your data, right? This is big difficult because they are just kids on an elementary student. Yeah, they are elementary school student. They are not as independent as Fitria Nur. Yeah, because you are independent. You are you are a university student. You don't
Yeah.
need to be like this is the task for today. There's no technical whatsoever. So if there is something interesting in these two finding, please put an extra note on the second finding, like especially on elementary school student. Oh, why? So you,
Sure.
when the question why, it's your time to show off, show the data. Yeah. All of these are troubles. All of
Yeah.
these are challenge. And the first parent, this is pretty much more like hope, yeah, because nowadays in now condition you don't choose whether online or non-online, yeah, offline, because there's no option. So you should add an extra note on this first finding, like it's pretty much more like a hope than preference. You have preference when you have two choices, right? Apple or Washington apple or Malang apple. Yeah. So you have two options. But this is no way like that. Okay. So if you explain it, the first finding, please add extra notes on, well, it's actually more about expectation. It's more about hopes of the parents, because things different in online learning and they are a bit struggle, and so on and so forth. Your data is exactly saying what it is, what it is. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think I'm not going to go more questions, but I will give you some feedbacks, yeah, if you don't mind, because today you present the material well, you understand everything's what you're saying, but I'm just trying to give you more details, feedback that non-researcher team will understand what you're talking about. Yeah, Bu Syahara, Bu Susi should have the context of you're talking about. Yeah, and so many of my notes will be something that you already explained. Only you need like an extra information, or the way you explain it. So hopefully that will be clear for the external examiner. Yeah. The first one, when you say why parent, it's important to you say something about because in the literature's review, very few using the perspective of parents, right? You say, um, well, they focus on the teachers, they focus on the students, but why not the parents? So it's interesting. I think you answered that, right? But
Yeah.
it will be more kicking in if you add something like, well, while we have this perspective, it is important because we need to have a different angle, different perspective. What for? We need to understand things better. How to understand it better? To see different angle. If you see Fitria from the front perspective, you will only have one perspective of Fitria. Yeah? You only understand one perspective. But when we have this parent perspective, we will add better understanding. Okay? I think that's beautiful as it is when you say, well, you cannot say, you cannot understand people from the front only. You can understand, but you can understand better if you can have left, this is right, sorry, right perspective, left perspective, behind perspective. So parent perspective is important. And then second reason, you can say something like parents are in elementary school student exceptionally will take biggest responsibility of the students learning, right? Because no teacher. And back to the topic, the elementary school student are not independent, so parents are instantly become their teacher, right? So we need the perspective of the teacher, because they are hand in hand. They put their hands on the student as a parent. And I think this is way far from easy, yeah. All all bapak, so all, they are getting mad, and they all this gun, yeah, they gun. If you don't read, if you don't, they use this because they are not ready to be teacher, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's interesting. 2 points, yeah. Did you write that? One
Yeah.
point is the,
Already.
yeah. Can you repeat that one and second in your words? Simple, yeah.
The first, because uh, we have parents as another uh, participant.
Hmm.
We have wait, bentar Pak, saya milih kalimatnya dulu.
Yeah, it's okay. Just try to make it simple. It's almost there. I think you're going to the right way. It's more like expectation. Yeah, the keyword word
Okay,
expectation. The second one was like the parents become uh, playing an important role. Yeah, they're teachers. Exactly. So the two, if you make it simple, like the keyword for the first one is uh, uh, expectation, like online or offline. It's not like that. It's expectation. Yeah. And the second one was that one. Okay. Can you use your own words to sum up that?
okay. The first why parents because we need another perspective beside student or maybe teacher
Mm.
to give expectation about online learning. And the second, because parents exceptionally takes the biggest responsibility to teach their children because of course they never not ready to be a teacher at home.
Yeah.
Seperti itu, Pak.
Yes, you got it. You just need to be, exercise that understanding. Like you have so many days, yeah. So just to make it natural. Okay, you got the point, yeah. Even if you're not asked, don't wait for them to ask because they will be like, thinking, yeah. Okay, I think I need you an extra question, just to get ready. For I mean, overall, I'm not worried that you will tackle this very well. But sometimes non-qualitative researcher examiner will ask you this: Why? How many participants did
to
you?
to
Why?
parents
Why were only two participants? Can you answer that? Please answer your best. I will give you a feedback. Uh,
because
mm,
okay because I think they're enough to be my data source. They give me enough explanation about what about their perception about online learning and about their experience while accompanying their children during this online learning during
okay.
the pandemic.
You happy with that answers?
Not that happy.
So I think there's some word that very dodgy, very loose, very dangerous, tricky word. You say enough. When you say
Okay.
enough, it's actually you calling for problem. And then the examiner say, what is the indicator of enough? So I think don't say goodbye to enough, yeah. And I think the spirit is there. The quick answer for that is go back consistent. Like the last time you answer, you go consistent with research problem. So what was the question?
What? Sorry, sir.
What was the questions? Why were only
We're only two parents.
why only two participants? Why not 10? Why not 20? So
Okay.
so you can go easily. Don't get distracted by the question. Don't get intimidated. You are qualitative researcher, and by nature you should say the focus of my research is understanding, and to get the understanding is not about how many participants. Okay, it's not about how many participants. So don't radically and attack the question like two is enough. No, wait. You don't talk about number, right? When you say two is enough, you exchange the wrong currency. Okay, don't say you don't care about the number, so you don't talk about the number. That's a big mistake if you say number. So you say uh, so the focus as my research problem, the research on the research problem focus on understanding
Understanding.
the blah 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 yari yari yari. So my focus will be understanding. Then the number, how many participant is not limited, but focus on understanding. to get understanding is not determined by number of participants. Yeah, I can have one or two informative participant, I can understand them. But I can have 20, but they don't speak, I don't understand them. Okay, yet there will be more questions. Sometimes skeptical examiner will say, wah, but 10 is better, Mbak Fitria. So you can say, well, I think it might be the case, but in my case, two participant or this participant provide the understanding, which is of course limited. And then you say, if I have 20, it will take, of course I don't have the available time for me, like 40, 30, and once again, why not 50, why not 20? It's not because I cannot do that, but because it is focused on the understanding. And the design, research design I use is qualitative. It's not focused on how many,
Understanding.
yeah, it's not focused on how many participants, but it's focused on
It's on the
how
understanding.
how deep is the information. Like this, I give you for illustration. Yeah, qualitative will go like this, up in the surface. Yeah, go up in the surface, very many, but not deep. But qualitative like this, only one point, one spot, but and then it's very deep down. So the question will be, so it is not general, it cannot be generalized, Mbak Fitria. Iyalah, this cannot be generalized, but it rings the bell. Understanding is not about generalization, yeah. Why when understand, oh, why they are why they don't like online learning, because they have this, they have that, they have problem. I understand them, yeah. And why, when we understand something, we don't need, or we are not always about how
How
many
many
people.
participants?
Yeah, and you cannot say what happened to the teachers, what happened to the, sorry, the parents there will happen to the other parents. Cannot be generalized, yeah, but it rings a bell. Maybe other parents have different problems, but still the same problems, something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you are attacked by the question of quantitative, qualitative, be consistent. Don't get irritated. Just say, well, yeah, that's quantitative. My focus is qualitative. My focus is understanding. Yeah. So do you think it's important? Important lah. Gitu ya. Very important. Because you just not, you don't need, how many teachers, how many parents don't like this? Maybe 200. But that's only number. But by doing this, we know why they don't like it. Yeah. Oh, because they are kids, they are elementary school students. They are not easy to take care. That the parents will be the teacher instantly, and it's not ready. Okay, so think about yourself as a qualitative researcher. Don't get distracted if they teach you up. Examiner job is try to teach you up. Yeah, why not this? Why not that? Because I'm this. I'm not this. I'm not that. Yeah, focus. Yeah, and materially speaking, technically speaking, your content is very well written. So as long as you stick to that, don't get provoked. The It can be provocative questions. Yeah, but don't let yourself down. Okay, it will drag you like, no, 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 no. Go back again, and you should softly, don't get, probably the last recommendation will be, keep doing what you're doing today. I don't see you're nervous, you are not very emotional to defense things, because this is not a defense. Yeah, this is a sharing. And I think the like of Bu Shahara and Bu Susi will have, will give you like uh, question that probably will provoke you to be defensive, but no defensive. Yeah, just try to, oh yeah, that's right, but no, no, that's not me. That's quantitative, but this is qualitative. Why not four? Four is better. Yeah, that might be true for quantitative, but qualitative, even one. Who said that? It's not me say that. That the design says that. Yeah? It's not Fitria say that two is enough. Yeah, but the approach agreed upon is like that, yeah. So qualitative doesn't rely on number. Okay. Now it's time for you to give me questions. So I think I'm done. So if there is things that you want to questions about technical or non-technical, I think we have like 3 minutes or 5 minutes, uh, just to make you feel better for the next examination. From me, I think those 3 points only need to be improved, and overall you do the good job. Yeah, congratulations. Yeah, good job.
Thank
So all right. So now it's time. Do you have questions? You can use bahasa or you can use English related to this or outside this material.
uh, outside my research, Pak.
Yeah.
Kan saya ini kan udah bulan Februari.
Hmm.
Jadi nanti saya bayar lagi apa enggak, Pak?
Ini apa Februari? Belum, ini masih Januari.
Maksudnya kan besok kan waktu saya ujian sama Bu Susi kan udah masuk Februari. Kan
Oh
udah
iya.
mau masuk semester genap. Itu saya bayar lagi nggak, Pak? Misal kalau revisi atau SKL-nya belum keluar.
Itu ada dua opsi sih, tapi ada happy ending, ada unhappy ending. Unhappy endingnya bayar. Yang happy endingnya you dapat nanti kayak kayak karena you ngurusnya udah ngantri gitu SKL. Sementara kan nanti biasanya molor-molor juga kan KRS. Nah, aku sih lihat nggak bisa mutusin, tapi kan lihat yang sejarah-sejarah yang udah-udah. Jawabannya yang aku lihat selama ini ada yang bisa. Jadi yang penting orang rumah dikabarin deh, bisa juga bayar, bisa enggak. Tapi biasanya kamu selama ini bayarnya per SKS apa enggak?
Per SKS, Pak.
Nah, I think that's a good news as well. Maksudnya separah-parahnya nanti per SKS aja nanti kalau kebayar.
Yeah.
And I think that's not the biggest problem for you. Maksud saya kalau tanggalnya 4, kalau sebentar tak lihat di kita akan mulai kuliah lagi tanggal 4. Kamu tanggal berapa ujiannya?
Terakhir mungkin kan karena Bu Syahra belum ngasih kabar. Mungkin kemungkinan terburuk sih tetap minggu depan, Pak. Mungkin lebih dari tanggal 4 Februari.
Ya nggak apa-apa sih. Kalau aku bilang nanti kamu selesaiin yang terdekat dulu. Ini hari apa? Jumat, Sabtu, Minggu, Senin. Ya nggak
Iya.
apa-apa. Nanti Senin tuh, well, positif aja. Masih cukup. Nanti kan biasanya ada extension juga kan. Apa nggak langsung ke kuliah juga. Ini aja nilai upload tanggal 4 deh. Bukan perkuliahan itu. Deadline upload nilai tanggal 4. Jadi masih cukup kayaknya. Kalau nimbang lebih banyak cukupnya sih. Walaupun jangan broken nanti kalau akhirnya bayar.
Oh ya Pak, terus sama yang apa namanya yang publication itu kan kemarin saya tuh ngecek di April. Ternyata Sasa sama Shelly dulu itu juga upload April, Pak.
Oh, tapi kan buat pernyataan. Buat pernyataan nggak?
Nah, kalau itu saya belum tanya sama mereka, Pak. Tapi di Google Scholar-nya Pak Fitri dulu saya juga nemu punya Shelly sama si Sasa.
Oh gitu. Ya nanti gini aja, kamu sambil nanya regulasi terakhir. Yang terakhir tuh Sherly malah 2. Yang satu kan yang internasional gitu. Dan bagusnya kan keren. Kamu tuh capek-capek buat gitu. Dan itu bagus gitu. Kalau nggak cuma disimpan di kampus ngapain gitu. Terus nggak berguna juga. Kalau saya berguna bagi saya, CV saya naik. Tapi yang paling penting kan bahwa itu ada gitu loh. Fitri yang mana tuh? Kamu ketik, iki loh. Sampai kamu lulus, sampai kemana-mana lagi, ono nih kono. Dan itu saya pikir klimaks tertinggi dari pengetahuan kita kalau terpakai ya kan, sebaik-baiknya ilmu yang terpakai. Nah kalau tadi pertanyaanmu ya mungkin aku kurang update ya, nanti coba Mbak Fitri lebih update, tanya sambil proses ke perpus email apa gimana, gimana kalau saya nggak pengen ke April karena nanti tetap saya rubah nanti kan findingmu 2 itu bisa jadi 2 artikel nanti. Terus kemudian yang pengabdian itu ya tinggal di follow up aja. Aku ngisi tanggal berapa itu? Tanggal 9. RPIDB minta aku jadi pembicara. Nah, wes tak bawa aja ini. Ada masalah ini sekalian kita presentasikan di sana. Saya ngisi pelatihan tapi kan nanti ada saya sisipkan finding ini gitu loh. Oh, ternyata tuh orang tua ya parah gitu. Nah, ini buat pembukaan nanti. Gitu loh. Kan sekali jalan dah kepake gitu. Jangan sampai
Nah,
menulis file aja.
Nah, itu untuk tanggal 9 itu kita tetap online apa offline, Pak?
Nah, kalau nanti gini aja, ada dua opsi. Kalau aku tanya Bu Dwi masih belum memutusin. Kalau online aku siap ke kampus, tapi kalau misalnya Mbak Fitria ada teknis, nanti mantau online aja. Online-nya itu biar aku punya rekaman bahwa Mbak Fitria itu join dan harus ada. Sekarang kan harus biar kelihatan ada kontribusi, mahasiswa jangan masang nama doang, biar ada juga di situ. Gitu. Misalnya, jadi opsinya dua, you boleh nanti memantau, which is actually easy, nanti preferable kayaknya lebih mudah situ. Kalau yang datang juga saya belum dikabari, pesertanya 40 orang dosen, mau tak ajari buat video pelajaran. Nah ini kan cocok dengan masalah pembelajaran. Nah ini buat research problemnya ini, punyamu ini, buat pengabdiannya, tapi saya tetap ngisi di workshop itu. Gitu. Jadi nggak usah terlalu kenceng-kenceng sih. Kalaupun nanti enggak, Pak Fitria pokoknya yang penting standby aja, join lah 10 atau 20 menit gitu. Atau ya yang penting udah join dulu. Nanti kan kalau udah kerekam gitu. Atau nanti tak kasih task force 1 di email biar Mbak Fitria juga bisa reply biar terkontribusi. Jadi pas ketika saya laporkan ada nama Mbak Fitria, Mbak Fitri gitu ya. Termasuk yang jurnal nanti Mbak Fitria udah lulus, tak obrak-abrik jadi banyak nanti, ya nama Fitria ada di sana. Oh skripsiku jadi 4, ya, emang gitu. Biar capek kan, nggak mudah kan buatnya, masuk udah jadi dibiarin aja. Dan itu memang digalakkan di kampus sekarang. Dosen harus nyolek-nyolek mahasiswa dan nggak usah nyari-nyari yang topik yang lain. Ya yang dibimbing itu ya udah diterusin kan, sayang. Nah dulu tuh ditaruh di rak ya Mbak. Nah, terus dikiloin apa gimana?
Iya, di gudang, Pak. Terus kalau setiap akhir semester pasti udah dikiloin.
Betapa kita menyia-nyiakan banyak hal dengan itu. Nah sekarang mungkin hikmahnya itu, ya wes dibuat jurnal aja toh. Kalau mau print ya print aja jurnalnya. Oh aku ada di sini nih. Kamu buat cari kerja juga enak. Mana buktinya? Kamu print, kamu masukin CV. Saya kira ini mutualisme positif spirit yang digalakkan kampus. Pokoknya ojo disia-siain. Kalau kayak seminar sekarang langsung judul Mbak. Buang-buang waktu banget kalau seminar, terus nanti pembimbingnya, misalnya saya ngasih judul, yang terus nanti ujian dia skripsinya sastra. Wah itu sekarang nggak boleh. Sekarang kalau seminar kamu pilih apa? Lalu pilih seminar teaching. Nggak sopo dosennya, nggak tahu, cari dulu. Nanti sekalian kan dosen udah punya judul Mbak. Nih, kue pilih Cindy. Tapi jangan macam-macam ya. Kalau kue nggak mau skripsi, nggak usah ambil judul ini. Gitu. Biar nanti mahasiswa juga cepat, nggak buang-buang waktu, ya kan? Dan tidak seperti dulu. Dulu kan banyak mengembara gitu. Oke? Nggak usah banyak-banyak nih. Kamu pertanyaan apa lagi?
Terus untuk tanda tangannya yang surat pernyataan itu yang tanda tangannya Bapak kemarin apa baru lagi, Pak?
Ya,
Apa saya
sama.
minta langsung? Ditempel aja, Pak.
Itu nanti bentuknya apa?
Kalau surat pernyataan kemarin saya dapatnya soft file. Terus nanti minta tanda tangan Kaprodi juga, Pak.
Oh, pakai anuku di scan nggak apa-apa. Scan dulu ya.
Ya.
Gitu. Tapi ya, biasanya bisa kok. Yang penting udah minta ke aku dan tak izinin tuh udah. Paling Bu Mauli, loh kok Pak Fitri dulu. Tapi kadang-kadang nggak dinanya juga ya, nggak apa-apa Pak, kan Pak Fitri kan work from home. Gitu. Insya Allah nggak apa. Pokoknya WA terus beresin. Nah tadi PM-mu tadi biar mempercantik fundamental konsistensimu itu harus penting. Kalau cara pembawaanmu kayaknya udah bagus. Gitu aja terus. Kamu tuh nggak defensif gitu loh. Nggak yang belum selesai pertanyaan sudah mau jawab gitu kan, nggak bagus tadi. Itu selalu dipertahankan. Tahan dulu, tahan gitu. Walaupun you tahu jawabannya, sabar. Kalau pas nggak tahu kan parah. Kayak tadi mikir dulu kan, ada thinking minute itu bagus. Oke, I
Iya,
think
Pak.
kalau ada pertanyaan lagi nanti WA di grup kelompok biar nanti yang lain ketularan gitu. Ih, udah ada yang pendadaran gitu ya. Kayaknya udah tak share juga. Nah, sekarang farewell dulu. I do apologize if I have one or two or three things that not working well during my supervision. Saya minta maaf kalau selama pas membimbing rock and roll keadaannya begitu. Tapi I'm happy. I'm one of the proudest supervisor lecturer have accompany you from the beginning until the end. Not only as a researcher but also as a student ya. Pak
Ya.
Fitri kayaknya baru kemarin toh. Terus sekarang mau lulus lagi. Udah ada Pak Fitri wis tua berarti toh. Congratulations berkah.
Terima kasih Pak.
Jangan lupa langsung kasih kabari orang tua, orang rumah. Yang penting tuh yang pertama orang rumah dulu dikabari.
Iya.
Alhamdulillah finish one, ada 2 lagi. Semoga sukses nanti tak doain.
Amin.
Apapun itu jaga hubungan dengan kampus seperti yang udah kan Mbak Fitria is one of the front runner student who is active for us in our department. So we would like to thank you. Lastly, congratulations ya, berkah ya.
Terima kasih Pak. Maaf juga kalau selama ini saya ada salah selama bimbingan atau mungkin selama jadi mahasiswa Bapak.
Tak maafin semuanya, maaf ya. Sama-sama ya Mbak Fitria ya. So I think I will send the score right away. Nanti habisin langsung tak kirim Bu Ariati aja biar nggak lupa nilainya langsung. I think you will have a satisfying a good score ya, hopefully ya. So
Amin.
and because you've done best today. I think that will be the end of today. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. I wish you all the best Mbak Fitria.
Amin.
Let me know until you really finish ya. Pokoknya saya dikabari sampai benar-benar finish ya. Dan
Pak.
Masalah teknis tadi ya. That's it for me. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alhamdulillah.